Leo and the Craftsman's Heart. In the cozy village of Oakhaven, 16-year-old Leo dreamed of creating beautiful wooden music boxes. Master Thomas was the finest craftsman in the valley, capable of making wood hum with sweet melodies. Leo watched him with wide eyes, holding a rough block of pine. He desperately wanted to turn simple timber into something truly magical today. Leo sat at his small wooden workbench, holding his chisel with high hopes. He pressed the blade into the soft pine, trying to carve a delicate songbird. Instead, the wood split sharply down the center with a loud snap. Leo stared at the ruined piece, feeling a heavy wave of frustration settle deep inside his chest. Master Thomas walked over to Leo's table and gently placed a warm hand on his shoulder. He picked up the ruined piece of pine and pointed to the jagged edge. He told Leo that skill was not born in a single day, but carved through patience. Then, he handed him 3 fresh blocks of wood. Leo started again with the fresh wood. He didn't rush. He focused on making slow, steady cuts, just like Master Thomas showed him. As days passed, his fingers grew sore, but a smooth shape finally began to emerge. It wasn't perfect, but it looked like a tiny, resting bird. Leo smiled faintly, feeling a quiet sense of progress. Master Thomas then taught Leo about refining his work. He handed Leo some fine grit sandpaper and showed him how to smooth away the rough chisel marks. Hour after hour, Leo patiently rubbed the surface of his tiny bird. The movement was repetitive and tiring, but the once jagged object slowly became soft and tactile under his persistent touch. Finally, the carving was complete. Master Thomas showed Leo how to apply a natural oil coating to protect and enhance the wood. As Leo rubbed the soft cloth over his creation, the simple pine transformed, revealing warm, golden tones and a deep, unexpected luster. He couldn't believe he had made something so beautiful from the initial rough block. Master Thomas was so impressed by Leo's patience with the wooden bird that he decided to teach him the secret of making music boxes. He handed Leo a delicate brass gear and showed him how the tiny teeth had to align perfectly. Leo realized that adding sound to his craft would require an even deeper level of dedication. Over the next 2 weeks, Leo spent every afternoon trying to build his very first musical mechanism. He carefully placed tiny metal pins onto a rotating cylinder, but every time he tested the sound, it produced only a harsh, off-key squeak. Tired and frustrated, Leo wiped sweat from his brow, determined not to give up. Master Thomas sat beside Leo and showed him how to file down each brass pin with subtle precision. He explained that making music required adjusting each part by fractions of a millimeter. Leo took a deep breath and picked up the tiny metal file, ready to try again with a steady, calm hand. Day after day, Leo practiced filing every tiny tooth and setting every brass pin with steady hands. He worked late under the warm lantern light, refusing to rush. When he finally turned the hand crank, the tiny cylinder spun smoothly, playing a crisp, clear lullaby. Leo's face lit up with pure joy as the soft melody filled the room. Now came the most challenging task of all, uniting the carved wooden bird with the internal brass mechanism. Leo spent days sculpting a grand outer shell shaped like an oak tree trunk. Every detail required hours of delicate work, but his hands were now steady and confident, guided by weeks of continuous, dedicated practice. With careful precision, Leo fitted the brass mechanism deep inside the carved wooden trunk and attached the tiny bird atop the canopy. He sealed the base with warm resin glue and smoothed the seams. Master Thomas stood nearby, watching with quiet admiration as the young apprentice completed his masterwork without needing a single word of guidance. Leo lifted the complete music box and set it down upon the central workbench. He carefully turned the small brass key, releasing the catch mechanism. The sculpted wooden bird slowly rotated as sweet, bell-like tones drifted through the quiet air. Master Thomas clapped his hands softly, his eyes reflecting complete pride in his young apprentice's incredible progress. The next morning, Master Thomas unrolled a large parchment flyer across the desk. It announced the annual craft exhibition in neighboring Riverbend Market, where artisans from across the valley showcased their finest work. Thomas suggested that Leo enter his new music box. Leo looked at the flyer, his heart fluttering with both nervousness and quiet excitement. To prepare for the journey, Leo carefully wrapped his music box in soft linen and secured it inside a wooden crate. He stepped out onto the cobblestone path of Oakhaven Village, heading down toward Riverbend Market. Each steady step reminded him of the long hours, split wood, and endless patience that brought him to this very moment. Leo arrived at the bustling Riverbend Market, wearing his best festival vest for the grand exhibition. Colorful banners fluttered above crowded stalls filled with intricate metalwork and polished glass. Leo found his designated wooden table in the center tent, carefully setting down his crate. He took a deep breath, surrounded by master artisans from all across the valley. The festival judges gathered around Leo's table, leaning in close to inspect the carved oak trunk and delicate wooden bird. Leo felt his pulse quicken under their sharp gaze. With steady hands, he inserted the brass key into the base and gently turned it. As the mechanism unlocked, the sweetest melody flooded the silent exhibition tent. The crowd erupted into warm applause as the music faded away into the air. The head judge smiled warmly, placing a beautiful blue award ribbon on the display table beside the music box. He commended Leo's astonishing patience and extraordinary craft. Leo stared at the ribbon in disbelief, a flood of gratitude washing over his mind. As the sun began to dip behind the sharp mountain peaks, Leo and Master Thomas walked back toward Oakhaven Village. The road was quiet, filled with the gentle glow of twilight. Leo held the blue award ribbon in his pocket, looking at his teacher with gratitude. He realized that true talent was never a secret gift, but the result of relentless practice. Back in the warm workshop, Leo placed his music box in the center of the honor shelf beside Thomas's greatest creations. He took off his formal vest and slipped back into his worn brown apron. Turning to his workbench, Leo picked up another fresh block of raw pine. He knew that his creative journey was only just beginning. Leo sat down at his familiar table, adjusting his small lantern. He touched the sharp edge of his carving chisel without a single trace of fear or doubt. As he made his first smooth cut into the pine wood, he smiled warmly. With hard work, patience, and dedication, He knew he could shape any raw dream into reality.